We've been driving from Bled for probably about an hour and a half, and we have come to a spot where it's as far as we can go in a motorhome, and you have to park here. And it's called, we're going to the Franja Partisan Hospital, but we've got another 290 meters to walk, and then we've got to go up here and walk up there. Not really sure how far it is, but
one way to find out, we'll just start legging it that way.
Exactly. We'll let you know. So this is where we're going to go up. So it's saying that we have arrived. I'm not seeing it.
I'm quite sure about that.
Yeah, we think it's hidden. So Mark, you give it a little bit of a history lesson.
During World War II, German occupancy in foreign countries didn't allow much for prisoners of war. So fundamentally, if you were shot or wounded, you'd get executed because it was too much logistically to be able to take people back to German lines to tend for them, and they had enough troubles keeping the war effort going. Taking care of foreign aggressors wasn't high on their priority list. So the partisans, who are like the French resistance, they decided that that was cruel in warfare, and it was against the Geneva Convention as well. You're not supposed to shoot prisoners. They put together with a local villager that I understand here, a head of a village, and he suggested that they could put a cabin up here in the woods area to be able to bring wounded soldiers, and that's where we're going to try and find a little bit more out about that. But at the moment we're kind of geographically embarrassed because Google Maps is saying one thing and it's not indicating much more.
Okay, we went on and rerouted, and I think we're going to go down and then to the right.
Okay, so we'll catch up again soon, team. So what we have found appears to be, well, I wouldn't suggest World War II, because World War II the technology was better in relation to cannon. If anything, this may be World War I, because it's a straight bore cannon. And you've got a sighting aperture here, and that's possibly where they'd keep the cannonballs. And this one here would adjust the elevation, so adjust it more horizontal or vertical to get different ranges. And typical wheels from World War I, maybe World War II, not really sure. Firing mechanism doesn't appear to be too much intact, but they may have just used bagged gunpowder to project the ball. Not really sure, but we're finding something. That's a start. Just looking at the terrain and mapping, I think we're on the right spot. A little bit more of a clear road, if you can call it that. We'll travel down here and see what happens. Well, team, we have seen some beautiful farmhouses and some beautiful thatched roofing and quite incredible beehives stacked top on top and painted blue and white, but to no avail. We haven't found the Partisan Hospital. Unfortunately, there's been no one around that we could ask either. So we're headed back down the hill to the motorhome. Yeah, see what we can do after that.
Okay, we had just about given up. We'd gone back to the motorhome and then over to the other side. There was a sign and another 500 meters, and we've come down to here, 50 meters down, and we found this sign. And I don't know if you can hear the wonderful water, and it's so much cooler. So we haven't given up. We asked a man who was Italian, he kind of pointed down this way. Yeah?
We'll go this way.
Okay.
We are on the right track now. A little bit more, when you look at the track, you'd go, how did you miss that? But it wasn't that easy to find. But we found a number of signs along the way. The amazing part is that the Franja Hospital is on the EU, or the European Union's heritage listing. So it's that significant and that important. And along the way are the signs. They're indicating that this one's particularly written by a soldier who was wounded, who was carried this way. And it just indicates that they came at night, they carried him, and at a certain point all wounded were blindfolded. And it was something that the Slovenians put together around 120 hospitals during 1942 to 1945 over the 3-year period. And from the sounds of it, they were carried up through the stream that Kayleen's looking through here. And the pictures are indicating that there were certain points where they were very quiet, whispering, be careful, watch out, blindfolded, all wounded personnel were blindfolded, so they couldn't disclose the locations of the hospitals. Obviously this track wouldn't have been here, so they're carried up through this streamline. And I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to do stretcher carries, but in my former life I spent some time in the military, and stretcher carries are part of what we did there as well. And generally it's a 4-man lift. You have one person on each side, or 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and every 50 to 75 metres you'd stop and swap over. And I can assure you, carrying through creek lines on slippery ground at night would have been harrowing for the people carrying the wounded personnel to the hospitals. It's an incredible effort and fortitude that these people had to be able to do these sorts of things. And unfortunately, in my belief, it's something that's being lost in today's society. We're giving up too easily. I just wonder where the world's going to at times. So we're coming up on another sign, so we'll give you another update shortly. The rag stuffed windows, doors, leaned against the wall, brought warm bricks from the neighbouring houses to warm their feet. One of the shoulders was running a high fever and the wounded, his forehead would not heal.
We then received assistance from Dr. Sticci, who is an Italian by birth but known to be reliable. He examined all four wounded persons and gave them medicine, then advised me how to treat them. In November 1943, the abandoned Kaymar mill gave refuge to 4 wounded partisans. They were cared for by nurse Pavla Leban. This modest shelter was soon replaced by a warmer, more comfortable nook in a nearby homestead not sure about that. On the 23rd of December 1943, they were moved to a ravine where the Partisan Hospital began to operate. And this may be some of the shelters. The stream, it's very peaceful through here. Imagine stepping up in through here. The water is so very clear. Is it nice and cool? And like that, we haven't seen a single soul. But whatever you do, don't follow Google Maps. Only go as far as the car park and ignore Google Maps and look for signs. Duh, we should have done old school. Yeah. So it's saying here that one of the bunkers, the defense, is up here. Now, I will try and zoom in, literally right in there. I can just see it. Wow.
Have you ever looked at the map here now?
So, in a defensive position, you're looking to dominate the high ground. So right now, we're in the valley, which is this point here. This valley and the creek line that we've walked up runs through this area here. And the first defensive position is what Kayleen just indicated to you. And looking at the height there, it's probably 75 to 125 metres above where we're currently sitting. The enemy would be channeled through here. This is indicating that the first German patrol, or first German attacking patrol, occurred on the 24th of April 1944, and the wounded were evacuated from the hospital, which should be further up. So this is a forward reconnaissance point, so that here the enemy is coming and the enemy's channeled into this valley area. So from that vantage point up there, excellent observation, excellent concealment, dominated the high ground. All the principles of warfare have been included. It's quite amazing what these guys could do. 3 heavy and 6 light machine guns, 5 submachine guns, 32 rifles, 7 revolvers and 184 bombs. It's a very tiny opening from the look of it. So we've just walked past an area, another sign. This particular hospital that we're headed to tended 575 wounded, of which they only lost 75 soldiers. And the area to our right behind this boarding and up on the cliff line is where they were buried, those 75 soldiers. And what the nursing staff did was place bottles with personal information and notes that were found on the soldiers to go back to their parents or their loved ones. And those bottles were buried with the corpses. And that way, at the end of the war, they could ensure that those bodies could be dug up and remembered as to who fought and who died. But it's an incredible effort. Out of 575 soldiers, only 75 passed away. And when you look through this terrain to carry stretchers through this area, is just extraordinary. So a comment here, we the guards also had the task of transporting the wounded. After blindfolding them, we spun them around on a specific spot so they no longer knew in which direction they were being carried. After entering the gorge, we carried them along the stream, making sure to step on those rocks which we knew would not shift beneath our feet. We then placed some of them there ourselves. Walking along this path was extremely arduous at night, especially when the weather was bad and the waters were rising.
Unfortunately, in 2007, the Partisan Hospital flooded. Thunderstorms carried away Franja. Storms carry away the Franja Hospital. Cabins of the Franja Partisan Hospital devastated. Since the end of World War II, the area of the monument has been struck by several disasters. The greatest devastation was caused by the destruction force of nature on the 18th of September 2007. Rising waters carried off most of the hospital cabins and original museum specimens. The reconstruction of the monument was completed in 2010. The dimensions of the flood are now visible only in the damaged memorial plate dated to the operation of Franja Partisan Hospital, which is just over here. Oh, looks like we made it. This looks like this is what is left. We'll go and see. Looks like there might be someone up here. Oh wow. So we literally just made it. They close at 6 and it's 25 to 6 and takes about half an hour. So we just made it. It's €8 each, so €16. And they take card up here. Amazing. Let's go see what Mark has found. So this is how they've rebuilt it. Isolation cabin. It's really well set out, and they have like notes that are from a nurse that was on, and the majority of those deaths that happened were diseases of dying patients, or mostly because of open wounds. Data on mortality in World War II show that the above average death rate was due to gas gangrene, a severe infection causing gas to accumulate in the tissue. According to findings of a physician, and there's a name, 8 out of 10 patients with gas gangrene died. Oh, this is a surgery cabin. Wow. Information from a wounded soldier. And then it has operations were performed in the hospital by the following physicians, and it lists all the physicians. Wow. I mean, I know that this is new, but how beautiful is this cabinet? X-ray? Oh wow, I don't know if that's going to come up very well. But wow, look at the old machinery. My goodness. What I really love in looking at this is really well said. It is a monument of humanity. And I think that is the biggest thing. There are so many tourist things around Slovenia and all the castles and medieval things, which are awesome. But this really does show you and have faith in humanity. Mind-blowing.